Only 3 performances tonight on The Masked Singer, and one that we already heard from last week. Interesting. Let's talk The Masked Singer. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to The Masked Singer recap and reaction video for episode 2 of the new season, season 8. And they have really switched things up. You know, we were talking last week about they're doing 4 performers and then 1 gets to move on, the other 3 get sent home. Now, I guess in the subsequent weeks, we're only doing 2 new performers, plus the reigning champ from the week before, which I didn't realize. I thought maybe they were just going to crown a new champ every week, and then at the end, like the top 5 or 6 or however many weeks would go against each other. But no, that is not what they're doing. They are taking a little bit of a cue, actually, from what was the virtual star, our Alter Ego. They're taking a little bit of a tip from that, where they had sort of somebody, on the stand, and then all throughout the episode, they would say, okay, was this person better than who's on the stand right now? That was episode by episode, but this, I guess, will continue through the season until there's just one left standing, I guess. But anyway, welcome to the Masked Singer review video. If you are new around here, I do this every single week, and you guys in the comments always help out. So let me know in the comments who you think is under the one remaining mask, which, by the way, I don't know yet. I know the first person voted out, which from the singing was actually pretty obvious. But then I guess the 2 remaining are going to go head-to-head in little battle royale, and then one of those 2 at the end will be unmasked. So I'm actually not sure who survives this episode. I have a pretty good idea, but I don't really know. So before we get into all of this stuff, please think about subscribing if you're not one of my subscribers already, but you enjoy my masked videos, because it is fun bringing these to you. But I would love to have you aboard as a subscriber as well. So at the end of last week's show, they had only revealed 2 of the 3 people, Hedgehog and the Knight. So this week, they started immediately within the first few seconds of the show with the Hummingbird unmasking. And instead of doing a reaction sort of to that live, I just decided, well, I'll just watch the singers first, and then we'll talk about it. So you can see in my comments from last week, though, I had switched off because of what you guys were thinking. Because, the panel was thinking football-type clues. I don't know ball, really, so I was going along with that. I said, sure, maybe Peyton Manning or something like that. But in the comments, you guys were pretty clear that, no, dummy, this is Chris Kirkpatrick from NSYNC. And all of the clues really made sense. The score on the scoreboard was 71-0. Chris Kirkpatrick was born in 1971. All of the Super Bowl kind of stuff, they NSYNC played the Super Bowl. So all of this really, really made sense to me. So I, and you can see it in the comments from last week, that I changed my vote to Chris Kirkpatrick. So that is who was unmasked. So I count that as a 3 for 3 in my category. Now, this week I'm a little less sure about some of these people. Now, I will say the returning performer, the Harp, you guys had turned me on to Amber Riley from Glee, which I thought made a ton of sense. So we'll go over her clues in a little bit and see if I still think it could be Amber under that mask. But first up this week was the Panther. The theme was Vegas night. And so the master, Donny Osmond, came out, sang a couple of numbers, including The Greatest Show from The Greatest Showman, and then came in and sat with the audience, or with the panel, rather, and was sort of guessing along with the panel the rest of the night. Love Donny Osmond. He was on the show years ago. He was the Peacock. I forget what season that was. They said it on the show, but it was early. Probably, I think it was before I was doing this, and I've been doing this since season 3, so I guess it was in season 1 or 2. It must be, because I don't think we did it while I was going over it. So that makes sense, that he would be one of the first ones they go to. But anyway, the Panther was up first. It said, likes catnaps. His clue, weekend warrior. All right, and he said, right at the jump, I was at the top of my game. We see a basketball when he says that. We see a picture of Beyonce, and he says he actually, worked with Beyonce. He said, one day people thought I was dead, including my own family. Talked about how he got to go to his own funeral. And then we see two signs. One says DEF, the other says ENSE. Defense is when you put them together. But separately, they could mean something, too. We don't know. He put a VHS tape in that said the Panthers Creed. And he said he started back at 1 after the whole funeral thing. And he wants people to know he is a scholar, a lover, a son, and a leader. He sang Feelin' Good, the old standard, the American songbook standard. I don't know who originally did that, but and then the after performance clue, this one given by a contortionist, as keeping with the Vegas theme. It was a little globe and the word victory, and he said that victory means the world to him, is how we want to take that clue. So Ken's guess was either Andre Drummond, who is, I guess, a ball player, or his friend Sam Richardson, who is an actor. He is in the what is that show? I watched so many shows I forget their names sometimes. The After Party on Apple TV Plus. He was most recently in that. Jenny thought because of the back at 1 clue, Brian McKnight could be under there. And then she talked about Lamar Odom as well, someone who thought to be dead. This guy was a great singer, though. So the panel was like, can Lamar Odom really sing like that? And then Nicole thought it could be Billy Porter, which was a good guess. She thought instead of hoops like basketball, someone who actually wears hoops. And he certainly has performed with Beyonce, I do believe. And then because of the victory clue, she was thinking it was one of the Jackson 5, Tito or Jermaine specifically, because they did have a victory tour in the 80s after Thriller had come out. And so that was, they sort of shied her away from that. Nick said Billy Porter was definitely a better guess. But you know what? Who knows? Weekend Warrior. I don't know much about that. Weekend Warrior. Weekend Warrior to me, I mean, in the workforce, it's somebody who, picks up shifts on the weekend. But in the real world, it makes me think of something like, well, football players play on the weekend. Although now anymore, I guess they don't, because we've got Thursday night football. And, of course, Monday night's been a thing for a while. But, a lot of sports are played on the weekend, too. So it could be something. And the Warriors, Golden State Warriors, is a basketball team. And I don't believe that the panel actually sees, like when the people first come out and they put the likes and the clue up, I don't think the panel sees that, just us, the audience. So Weekend Warrior could be somebody from the Warriors team. I don't know. All right, so next we will move to the Pirate. This is a pirate, but it's a rat mask, and then there's a little like mouse thing that they're doing as a puppet. Likes, plundering, clue, great at multitasking. He said, at age 8, I wasn't popular, but made my own friends. And we see little marionettes there. He said he moved to Hollywood. They served this thing on a silver platter, and it's just a dinner for dummies. Dummies, marionettes, it all makes sense. Late laugh was seen in the clouds. He said he has spent many nights in Vegas, but is never the leading man. He sang Crocodile Rock by Elton John very poorly. And then the guesses from and then the clue. We got the clue from Carrot Top on a video. And it was a menu. He said, this is a special menu. And it was like a blank sheet of plastic in there. And he said, the clue is me. It could be me or whatever. And the pirate said after that, a little taste tonight of what I can do. So a little taste. We got the menu clue. All right. So Ken thought it could be Robert Smigel, who does Triumph the Insult Comic Dog on Conan O'Brien. So that's a late night show. That makes sense. And also he got his start on Saturday Night Live. Nicole thought it could be Terry Fader because there was a clue. He said the words Got Talent somewhere in there. And of course, course, Terry Fator won America's Got Talent one of the very early seasons, and he has a regular show in Vegas. Donny Osmond said it was right across the street from him, actually. But Donny had a different take on it, and he thought it was Jeff Dunham. He was pretty sure about that. Now, right away, when we got those first, at 8, I wasn't popular, but I made my own friends, and we see marionettes. I thought immediately, all right, who does ventriloquism? Who does that kind of a thing? And Jeff Dunham was the first name that popped in my head. Now, I do know Terry Fator. I watched AGT around that time, and I know him well, and Donnie correctly pointed out that Terry Fator is a great singer, and actually, he really is. Not only is he a great singer, but he throws his voice to impersonate other people while he's singing. Like, he has puppets, at least, I don't know what he does now in his Vegas act, but on AGT, he, would have puppets of, whoever it was, Frank Sinatra, let's say, and he would do an impersonation in, this person's voice, with the marionette. It was so cool. So yeah, I can't say that it's Terry Fator. I have to disagree with that. So of these initial guesses, I would say it's probably, I'm between Jeff Dunham and Robert Smigel, because they have a lot of late night clues here. Smigel obviously got to start doing that, but I don't know, the whole made my own friends. Robert Smigel is known for doing the Triumph of the Insult Comic Dog, but I don't think he makes his own puppets, whereas Jeff Dunham, I think, does. So, all right. Anyway, I'll cut to the chase before we even talk about the harp here. The Pirate was the first one voted out, which was a surprise to no one, because Panther can sing, and the harp, we know from last week, can sing. So, no surprise there. So why don't we do the Take It Off for the Pirate, and then we'll talk about everything else. So the clues here, or the other guesses, Robin thought it could be Dana Carvey, for the late night stuff. Jenny thought Steve Carell, bad clue, or bad guess. But then she switched. Before the actual Take It Off, she switched and said, you know what? This could actually be Carrot Top, and they're screwing with us. They had Carrot Top do the video clue. He showed himself in the menu and said, oh, it could be me. I just think it's someone who worked with Carrot Top, although it would be pretty cool if it was Carrot Top, because that would be a really nice misdirect, and we're in Vegas. Magic, misdirection, that all fits in. But I think I like Robert Smigel. I don't hate Ken's guess for once. But my initial thought was Jeff Dunham. Donny Osmond, Vegas legend, thinks it is Jeff Dunham. So I will go with it. I'm going to stay with my initial guess of Jeff Dunham, and we will see how this works out here. I would love, if it's Carrot Top, that would be funny. But let's see. I hate Jeff Dunham, by the way. I think he's a hack. But let's see. If it's Jeff Dunham, I'm 4 for 4. All right, come on. Yeah, take the mask off. They're all yelling. They're as sick of it as we are. Who is it? It is Jeff Dunham. Hey, I'm 4 for 4, baby. All right. Wow. It's funny, look, obviously they thought he was going to go home. The producers were like, look, this guy can't really sing, so obviously it makes sense all right, we don't need to listen to it, we get all the clues. They were probably like, look, this guy's gonna go home, let's make the clue package fairly obvious. And so yeah, right away when he said he made his own friends, yeah, that's clearly, to me, that's a Dunham. So I am excited about that. 4 for 4 now. I've never been this good at a season, especially with people that we don't see multiple times. These are just people getting voted off immediately. So very, very proud of myself on that. But now we have to have a showdown between the Harp and the Panther, and we will see who is voted off from that. And with that, I'll give you the additional clues then for the Harp as well. All right, in terms of the Harp's clues, we didn't get too many new ones this week, but we saw a witch hat, which we kind of saw last week, right? She said she's been labeled competitive her whole life. She is always on time. We saw a pair of 3D glasses, and then we saw a CD called Night Night. And she sang I Have Nothing from Whitney Houston. Look, if you're going to sing a Whitney song, you've got to bring the goods. And she definitely did that. It was an amazing performance. Her clue, brought out by a juggler. and thrown out as a juggling ball to Nicole, it said the word collaborated. She has collaborated with Nicole. She said she always likes seeing her name in lights with Nicole's. Due to that, Nicole was thinking it was Amber Riley, who did something with Dream Girls. There was a Night Night CD. I guess she was maybe in one of the touring companies, Dream Girls or something. And then the Witch Hat, she had done some kind of Oz thing with Nicole. So Amber Riley, and that's what you guys were saying in the comments last week after the performance. So I had switched my vote to Amber Riley. Jenny thinks it could be Ashanti because of the always on time clue. All right, makes sense. And she can sing. And then Robin thought it might be Yvette Nicole Brown from Community, who is honestly a fantastic singer. People don't quite know that, but she is a great singer. She showed us a little bit of that on a recent episode of Celebrity Password. But I would say I'm sticking with my guess of Amber Riley on this one. And the good news is we won't even find that out until a later date, because Amber Riley, we don't know yet if it's Amber Riley, but the Harp moves on to next week. She is crowned queen again, because what they did after the commercial break was they had this battle royale where both contestants remaining, Panther and Harp, sang the same song in different styles, and then the panel made the final decision, which means that I guess every week that we do this with the battle royale, we're going to have a fifth panel member. We're going to have a special guest, which makes sense because they need to eat up. If they're only going to have 3 singers every week, they're going to need to eat up some time anyway. So why not have the first 5 minutes be all about the special guest like they did tonight with Donnie? But it makes sense because that way it will, force a tiebreaker if there is a tie. So they both sang Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf, and Harp absolutely killed it. Panther was good, but what was interesting was it was a completely different vocal performance from the first song. It was weird how different it is. So it's obviously somebody who maybe has a couple of different voice selections to choose from. So for the final guesses, Jenny stuck with Lamar Odom. Nicole flat out said she really doesn't think it's Billy Porter anymore, but she has no other ideas. So she's stuck with Billy Porter knowing that it's wrong. And listen, I've been there. I do that sometimes. All right, Robin was on the basketball clue, and he said someone I've never heard of, Iman Shumper, something like that. I didn't even look it up. I don't know how to spell it. I don't know who it is, but I think that's what he said. And then Donnie was thinking a basketball player, so he deferred to Ken, because Ken always knows all the basketball people, and Ken said it could be Andre Drummond, but Ken himself went with Sam Richardson from the After Party. I personally don't think Sam Richardson is famous enough to be on this show, and I know we've had a few people over the years, like the one gamer dude. I never heard of him. There's definitely a few people I've never heard of on the show, and I have heard of Sam Richardson, but I think on the whole he may not be famous enough for this show. I like him, and go watch the After Party on Apple Plus, but I don't know. I don't think it's him. I really am out. I think my streak is coming to an end here. I have to guess someone. So I think my streak is kind of hitting a wall here. But, I've gone against Ken before with the sports. And even though Ken didn't pick Sam Richardson, he said if you're going to go sports, it's Andre Drummond. I don't know who that is. But you know what? I'm 4 for 4. So if I miss this one, that's still an 80% return rate so far this season, and that's very good. So I am going to go with Andre Drummond. Now, I won't know once they do the unmasking. I still won't know. They'll have to specifically tell me that it's Andre Drummond, but it's somebody. Oh, it is Montel Jordan. Okay. Now, I will say, see, I should have listened. There was somebody in the comments, my good friend Nyan, said that they had read online some rumblings that Panther could be Montel Jordan. And here's the thing, though. I don't like to be spoiled about stuff like that. So the blinders went on. I read that, and it went immediately out of my mind. because I just was like, well, I don't want, until I hear them sing, until I see the clues, I don't want to hear any spoilers, which is, why I don't watch trailers or whatever. So I literally put that right out of my mind. I forgot completely that that was a possibility. So I guess I should have listened. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like to go into these with my own thought process, and then afterwards hear from you guys in the comments and help shape my views. But before I even see one note, or before I see the clue package, and that's, the Rudy Giuliani thing last season, I didn't even count that as a correct answer or not for me, because there'd been so much hype about Rudy Giuliani being on the show. So I didn't count that either way. But I totally forgot about the whole Montel Jordan thing. Boy, I would not have picked that out. I'm surprised people online were saying that just from that first performance. I only know 2 clues, or 2 songs by Montel Jordan. This Is How We Do It, and Get It On Tonight. So, I really, the clues I don't think would have helped me. But he has done stuff with Beyonce, I guess, probably when she was in Destiny's Child, so that makes sense. And the 2 different vocal styles, that's interesting. That is interesting. All right, well, that's it. We could stop there. So I guess that will be it now for the next, I don't know how many weeks, but I guess there will be 2 new performers, and then the reigning champ from the previous week will sing again. And it could be Harp all the way till the end. I don't know. I mean, at some point, we're all going to figure out it's Amber Riley, right? But all right. So I'm 4 for 5. I'm okay with that. I will take that as it is. So, all right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see everybody next week. Bye.